Hey everybody, welcome back to the Lil Will Learning Company. So I have a product that I've been working on for about 2 months now, and it's a full year-long curriculum, and it's mostly designed for, let's say, a sixth grade student, let's say someone or a kid around the ages of 11 to 12 years old. But it's for sixth grade, and it is meant to cover, let's say, for a homeschool family, the five main topics across an entire calendar year. Those topics are reading slash literature, writing and grammar, math, history, and science. And when I say about a calendar year, I really mean 10 months, around 200 instructional days. And in this year long curriculum, I've designed it so that one, as soon as you get it, it tells you kind of exactly what materials you need and what exactly you need to do on every single one of those 200 instructional days. Now, this I'm not saying there's a script or anything like that that you have to follow, but like as a parent, you just go, oh, okay, yeah, so they're going to be doing this in reading, this in writing. This is what they're learning in math today. This is for history, and this one here for science. Every single day is mapped out across those five topics across 200 instructional days or 10 months across the entire year. So that still leaves time for vacations and going on trips or just, holidays, whatever you want to do. But it's not completely like every single day of the year, but it covers a vast majority of the year. And what it is it includes not necessarily everything made by me, but it does include materials from other companies. I'll give you an example. It does include a bunch of literature. So there's 10 novels that the students will read throughout the year. And I've always recommended the company novel units and all of their student packets. And if a novel didn't have a student packet, then the teacher guide that go with it. But what's really nice about all the novel units is they always give comprehension questions and compare, contrast, vocabulary work. There's a lot of things built into every single novel, and I've always really liked their materials. So for each one of them, I recommend that. But across a whole year, basically they're reading 10 novels and working literature with it, working on the reading comprehension with it. There's already built-in quizzes and tests for each novel as well. And then for the also meant to be built in with that is like a daily fluency practice. So for reading, before you should work on vocabulary and before you should work on reading comprehension, there still needs to be practice of fluency when a student reads, so that when they read out loud, it sounds nice, well paced, with intonation and prosody and inflection and different variants of tone and emotion, almost like acting in that sense, instead of being monotone like this. So there's a fluency practice at the beginning of each of those as well. So it's covering fluency, it's covering vocabulary, it's covering reading comprehension, and they're reading a lot of literature throughout the year. The next topic, writing. That one is through BJU's Writing and Grammar, grade 6. It's really well done. I mean, as far as I know right now, like I just highly recommend it. It covers a lot of topics in grammar and in writing units, and there's assessments and tests built into it, and that's really, really nice. For math, it is arithmetic from beginning to end. It's the math textbook that I personally wrote and have worked on, and I've also added additional assessments with that that's only included with the year-long curriculum. And then along with that is like a daily math warm up where it's a mental math problem along with a math word problem to have them practice that. So that's kind of built in, and there's a lot of material that's covered throughout that, and it very, very useful all the way from GCF, LCM to percentages, ratios, rates, proportions, all the way to statistics and data, basically. For history, it's ancient civilizations, the ancient worlds, basically. And the textbook I recommend for that is History Alive. History Alive, The Ancient World, really, really good. The only downside, and I'm not trying to bash the book or anything like that, but the only downside was that there were no questions built in or assessments built in, like tests or anything like that, or quizzes. So when what I built in with this is There are questions for each of the chapters for each of the lessons. At the end of each unit, there is a unit test that I designed for it as well. So, along with that, especially when it comes to ancient Greece and ancient Rome, I've also included a whole packet about Greek mythology and Roman mythology and stories and lessons that really help supplement those units as well. And then finally, for science, there's 2 textbooks I recommend, even though that they're not meant to be finished throughout the year. It just has a start to them. It's the Earth and Environment 2 and Biology 2 from I'm forgetting the publishing company right now. When I post this video, I'll put a way to put a little graphic in that says it, but Earth and Environment 2 and Biology 2, they're 2 really good science textbooks. But similarly to the history textbook, there's not really questions or assessments built into it. And so I have designed some questions and assessments for each of the chapters, for each of the units to kind of go over and review as well. So that's part of the curriculum. So again, 200 instructional days, 10 months basically. It's very, very thorough. A lot of materials covered. It is academically very rigorous, but also very, very enlightening, good, and really takes students to a lot of places that they're going to learn a lot of new things here. Um, Here's the thing when I was designing it that I try to put myself back into the shoes of a classroom teacher and to the shoes of a parent, where I try to think, is this paced really well? So there's a reason why it's designed to be paced over 200 instructional days. It's not meant to be rushed. And even each day does cover a lot of topics. But the nice thing is, unlike a classroom teacher where there's a clock that keeps you on a schedule, this is more task based. So if the student completes the tasks and they understand it, they just move on to the next part there. So maybe their day is only 3 hours, or maybe some days are closer to 5 hours, depending on how demanding each task is for the day. But as long as they're understanding everything and they're completing the tasks, they just kind of move on. That being said, it's not designed to be rushed, but it's not designed to have you sit around and wait, basically. But the other part is, as a parent, I can understand just reading something is not enough. You want accountability. And so that's why with history, with science, with the literature, and with the math, I have these built-in extra assignments and comprehension questions for each of the sections, and unit tests and or quizzes built in throughout the year as well. Because you do want to ask, like, hey, how do I know my child's even learning this? Is there a way to prove it? And those assessments help with that. And then that gives you some flexibility where if you want them to go back and go over it some more, if they're not really understanding it, well, then now you can. And now you have a reason to go back and do that. You know, like, okay, no, they need to focus on this one more here. So there's accountability and many assessments built in. So I'm in the final stages of finishing that up before it gets shipped off. But as someone who's taught sixth grade for many, many years and been in a classroom for many, many years and had to pace out how to complete assignments, how to pace out learning of a topic and the various topics that you have to cover within a year and assignments and tests and accountability. I think this is a really, really good product that's going to be very, very useful to families who are teaching their kids at home and who are around that age. Right now, it's sixth grade only, but after this one's done, I am going to be working on one for fifth grade and one for seventh grade. And it'll basically follow a very similar format where it's not all the materials from me. It's going to be a combination of materials from me and then materials from other companies as well. But it's still meant to be fairly affordable, fairly accessible, but more importantly, it's meant to be very academically rigorous. It's very well structured and by design, it's meant to constantly kind of stretch the student's understanding, but also keep them accountable and make sure that you can assess them, make sure they are truly understanding the material as well. So I will give more of an update when that releases, but look out for that soon. And one more time, thanks for coming here to the Lil Will Learning Company. If you need any educational material such as math textbooks, phonics, math word problems, we've got that. If you need personalized curriculum or year-long curriculum, we have that as well. And whether you're looking for mentoring or tutoring, come check us out. And until next time, take care.